You did it. You got your quail through the fragile first few weeks. They're alive. But now comes the challenge that makes most people quit. Because if you get this next step wrong, you're not just dealing with a few dead chicks. You're dealing with a predator-attracting, ammonia-stinking, neighbor-offending nightmare. This is where the hobby gets real. Your birds are leaving the brooder, and they need a permanent home. Get it right, and you'll have a clean, efficient, and productive setup. Get it wrong, and you'll be out of the game before you collect your first egg. Today, we're building the perfect quail house. Your quail are now teenagers. At around 3 to 4 weeks old, they're starting to test their wings, they're getting rowdy, and the brooder is getting crowded. This is when feather pecking and stress can set in. It's time to move. But don't just grab them and throw them in a new cage. There's a checklist. First, are they fully feathered? Check the feathers on their back and breast. They should look like miniature adult birds, not fluffy chicks. Second, what's their weight? A healthy coturnix should be over 100 grams before they move. Use a small kitchen scale. Third, check the weather. The nighttime temperature should be consistently above 60 degrees Fahrenheit or 15 Celsius. If not, you'll need to provide a supplemental heat source in their new home. The best time to move your birds is at dusk. It minimizes stress and helps them settle in calmly overnight. When you move them, don't just dump them in. Place them directly near the food and water source so they can find it immediately. For the first few days, I even like to keep their old brooder heat plate in the new cage turned on so any bird that's feeling stressed can find that familiar comfort. Now let's talk about the house itself. There are 3 main designs that work for quail, and the one you choose will depend on your space, your climate, and your long-term goals. First, the most popular option for urban and small space keepers, the stacked battery cage. These are compact, efficient, and incredibly secure. A typical tier is about 2 feet by 4 feet and can comfortably house 12 to 15 birds. The key to this design is a floor made of hardware cloth, with a removable tray underneath to catch manure. This is the secret to keeping them clean and odour-free. Next, the walk-in aviary. If you have a bit more space, an aviary allows the birds to exhibit more natural behaviours. We're talking a minimum of 4 by 8 feet and at least 6 feet tall. The floor should be a deep litter of sand and peat moss, which will compost the droppings in place. Add some perches and a few solid panels to act as windbreaks, and you have a fantastic low-maintenance setup. Finally, for those on pasture, the quail tractor. This is a mobile bottomless cage that you move to fresh grass every single day. A simple 3 by 8 foot frame on wheels is perfect. The birds get fresh forage and your pasture gets fertilized. The key here is security. You need a solid roof to protect from aerial predators and a wire skirt around the bottom to stop anything from digging underneath. Regardless of the design you choose, the golden rule of quail housing is space. For cages, you need a minimum of 1 square foot for every 5 birds. For aviaries and tractors, give them at least 1 square foot per bird. Overcrowding is the #1 trigger for stress, disease, and cannibalism. Don't do it. A good housing system isn't just a box. It's a machine that automates the daily chores so you can focus on the health of your birds. Let's talk about the 3 big ones: water, feed, and waste. Stop using open water dishes. They get filthy in seconds. The solution is a horizontal nipple watering system. You can build one yourself with some PVC pipe and a 5-gallon bucket. The water stays perfectly clean and the birds learn to use it in minutes. Same goes for feed. Open feeders are a recipe for waste. A simple PVC gravity feeder will keep the food clean, dry and available 24/7. Until your birds are 6 weeks old, they need a 22% protein grower feed. After that, you can switch to a 20% layer feed. Now, the big one, manure and smell. Quail produce a lot of ammonia, and it can become a serious health hazard and a major nuisance. If you're using cages with manure trays, you need to clean them daily. But here's the pro tip. Line the trays with a layer of zeolite pellets, like the kind used for horse stalls. It will absorb the moisture and neutralize the ammonia, dramatically reducing the smell. If you're using a deep litter system in an aviary, your job is to keep it dry. Turn the litter with a rake every few days and add more dry material as needed. A dry coop is a smell-free coop. It's a heartbreaking lesson that every new livestock owner learns eventually. You can do everything else right, but if your housing isn't secure, you're just setting a dinner table for predators. And with quail, everything wants to eat them. Raccoons have hands. A simple latch is not enough. You need a 2-step latch, like a carabiner clip. Snakes can get through the tiniest gaps. All openings must be covered with 1/2-inch hardware cloth, securely stapled. Rats and weasels will dig. You need to bury a 12-inch hardware cloth apron around the entire perimeter of your coop. Hawks and owls will strike from above. Your roof needs to be solid, not just wire mesh. Don't take shortcuts here. Double-check every corner, every seam, every latch. Your flock is depending on it. So there you have it. You've successfully moved your birds from the brooder into a permanent home that is clean, efficient, automated and secure. You've built a system that will keep your birds healthy and your neighbours happy. You've conquered the second major hurdle of raising quail. You've built a foundation for a productive and sustainable flock. Now that your housing is dialed in, you're ready to start thinking about the rewards. You're ready for eggs.